Dear friends, welcome to the Satyagraha. And today we are going to listen to voices on a very important day, which especially in context of the food sovereignty and all of us who are struggling here in different countries, different places for food sovereignty. And as we all know, 29 March is the day of the landless, and you will note the hashtag no land no life and hashtag hungry for change. So be welcome to use it. We are very grateful to Asian Peasant Coalition for helping us put together today's session. And we can translate in English and Hindi as required. um, and we have a list of people who will be sharing more on this. So, Manga, if Raja will needs more time, we can begin with Harinder Sahab, please. Or
Bobby, Raja is here already.
oh, all right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry for late.
No problem. You are most welcome, Raja Mujib Bhai, and you are right on time.
I was on traveling.
Okay.
So still I am arriving at my home. So
all right.
If you give me 10 minutes for reading my slides.
Yes, please. You need 10 more minutes, right? Don't want to speak right now.
Yes. I have need to have preparation for the.
All right. Okay, fine. Yeah, we can begin with Harinder Singh Manshaiya Sahab.
Thank you.
Yeah. Harinder ji, are you here, right? Harinder Sahab is here. Harinder Singh Manshaiya is a farmer from Punjab, Mansa in Punjab, and he is a farmers leader also, and he has been involved with the ongoing Indian farmers struggle on the borders of Delhi, but also in several states of the country. So Harinder Singh Manshaiya साहब, आप बात शेयर करें. आज इसका दिन है भूमिहीन किसानों का. सो आपके ऊपर आपसे हम लोग समझना चाहेंगे मुद्दे थोड़े से. हरिंदर साहब आप म्यूट करें. जी.
सभी साथियों को नमस्कार, आदाब और सत श्री अकाल. आज दुनिया भर में भूमिहीन किसान हैं जो उनका दिन मनाया जा रहा है, और पंजाब में और इंडिया में देखे तो हर एक घंटे में 100 किसान है जो वो भूमिहीन होता जा रहा है. जैसे उद्योगों और लिबराइजेशन का होया है 92 से इंडिया में, तो किसानों की जो जमीन है बहुत कम हो रही है. किसानों के पास जोतने के लिए खेती कम हो रही है, और इसका बड़ा कारण एक उद्योग है जो उनका प्रसार हो रहा है दुनिया भर में. और ख़ास तौर पे जो भारत है, भारत में तो पॉपुलेशन का बहुत बड़ा है कि पॉपुलेशन दुनिया के पहले नंबर पे आने को तैयार है, चाइना के बाद जो इंडिया है. सो इसलिए पंजाब के जो किसान हैं उनके पास, या इंडिया के किसान हैं, उनकी ज़मीन सी जो उनके बच्चों में बांटी जा रही है. कुछ कारपोरेट घराने हैं वो खरीद रहे हैं, कुछ फैक्ट्रियां बन रही हैं, नवे सड़कें बन रही हैं, उसमें ज़मीन आ रही है. तो ज़मीन हर घंटे के बाद मैंने बताया कि 100 किसान भूमिहीन बन रहे हैं इंडिया में. सो बड़ा एक तबका पहले से ही जो किसान की खेती पर निर्भर है, जो पंजाब में खेत मजदूर हैं, जहाँ खेतों में बटाई पे काम लेते हैं, जैसे ज़मीन है उसको ठेके पे ले ली, उसको लेकर अपनी खेती करते हैं, जो सिर्फ खेती पर निर्भर हैं. वो बड़ा एक तबका 55% लोग हैं जो एग्रीकल्चर नाल संबंधित लगे हुए हैं. वो भूमिहीन किसान है जो बड़े जागीरदारों की, बड़े जिमींदारों की जमीन को वो ठेके पर लेते हैं, अपना काम करते हैं, और उनके बेटे और उनके जो फैमिली वाले हैं वो सभी लोग इससे लगे हुए हैं, अपना रोजगार इससे प्राप्त कर रहे हैं। हेलो।
जी जी बताएं।
हाँ हाँ। तो
ठीक।
इसलिए जो बड़ा तबका है जो खेती पर निर्भर है, वो सिर्फ खेतों पर निर्भर हैं, अपनी जो मवेशी रखते हैं, पशु रखते हैं, दूध का काम करते हैं, वो भी सभी लोग अपना जाते हैं फार्मर के, अपना वहाँ काम करते हैं। पहले पहले था पंजाब में लाइए तो जिनके पास भूमि नहीं है या भूमिहीन था, वो बटाई पे हिस्से पे लेता था, जिसमें आधा होता था वो किसान जिसकी जमीन होती थी उसको दिया जाता था, और आधा भूमिहीन किसान वो ले जाता है, लेबर उसकी होती थी। उसके बाद अब लोग उसको ठेके पे लेने लगे, जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग कहते हैं, वैसा गांव के लोग ही अपना उसको लेते हैं, जिसकी कीमत कभी सरकार ने जोड़ी नहीं है। वो कहते थे किसानों की आमदनी इतनी बढ़ गई है, पर जो बटाई पे किसान जमीन लेता है, जैसे 60,000 70,000 में 1 एकड़ जमीन को ठेके पर लेते हैं, और उसमें सारा साल फसल उगाता है, फसल बीजता है, और उसकी आमदन लाए तो उसको उसके पल्ले कुछ भी नहीं पड़ता। वो अपना 60,000 किसान को देकर सारे खर्चे निकाल कर उसके पास कुछ नहीं बचता है। तो बहुत बड़ा जो इंडियन किसान है, या और देशों में भी है, तो वो तो सिर्फ खेती पर निर्भर है। जब खेती नहीं रहेगी तो किसान नहीं रहेगा और खेत मजदूर नहीं रहेगा। इसलिए जो आंदोलन चल रहा है, इस आंदोलन में सभी लोगों की भागीदारी बढ़ती जा रही है। पहले पहल समझा था लोगों ने कि ये पंजाब के किसानों का आंदोलन है, उसके बाद अब पंजाब में पिछले 1 महीने 2 महीने से खेत मजदूरों को समझ आई, या भूमिहीन किसानों को समझ आई कि ये तो हमारे लिए भी एक बड़ी समस्या पैदा होने जा रही है। सो इस तीनों कानूनों के खिलाफ अब खेत मजदूर और भूमिहीन किसान और जितने भी किरती है लोग, वो लेबर हैं, वो सारे इसमें शामिल हो रहे हैं। तो हम बड़ी लड़ाई की ओर चल रहे हैं लोग। देश के लोगों से आग्रह करते हैं कि इस आंदोलन में भाग लें, और जो मोदी सरकार ने इतने काले कानून लगाए हैं देश पर, उससे हमें राहत मिली।
जी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। So friends, we were listening to Harinder Singh Manshia ji. He's a farmer and he raised a lot of issues that probably will be common, and we will hear it from other people too. And he more alarmingly, he told us that in every hour, about 100 farmers become landless. And he said that in when the policies of globalization, liberalization, and privatization in India came in early 1990s, 1992 onwards, he saw significant change where many more and more farmers were losing their land and becoming landless, and corporate takeover of the land was a major threat looming over the livelihood of farmers, even those who had land. And different kind of arrangements were happening. For example, for landless farmers or laborers were sharing land and doing farming, where they were sharing half of the produce with the landowner and half of was for the people who were tilling the land. But then the contract system came in, where a lot of money was supposed to be given by the landless farmers who took the land on contract. And in some places it was 60,000 for a piece of land, which was a lot of money. And this cost was not factored in by the government when they talk of that farmers' income has gone up. So the expenditure, but they don't look at the expenditure, which has also gone up because now they also have to pay for the land as they've lost the land. So thanks a lot, Harinder Singh Manchaya Sahab. And either we can listen to Raja Mujib Rahman Sahab, or if he's ready, or राजा जी आपको थोड़ा समय और चाहिए या अभी, or we can go to Kathy.
Okay.
If I have time. So
Yes, we have time. So you please take your
okay,
time.
thank
And
you.
meantime, Raja ji, we
It's
will listen.
it's good. It's good for me. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So let us listen to Kathy Estavilo. Kathy Estavilo is from Amihan Women Peasant Federation in Philippines. So welcome, Kathy Estavilo. And over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to everybody who are here at our Zoom conference. I would like to ask Manga to share the presentation. Okay, thank you. So the title of my presentation is Genuine Agrarian Reform, which is the key issues for us peasants in the whole Asia, no? So to begin with, landlessness remained the fundamental problem of the peasants, no? Lack of genuine agrarian reform and rural development has brought I can't see. Lack of genuine land reform and rural development has worsened hunger and rural poverty for years, no? Especially during the time of this pandemic, no? The lack of land reform has also brought so much increase in the prices of our basic food needs, no? Next slides, please. Hello, Manga. Next slides. Okay. With this data, no, an estimated 15 million people in the world are evicted by land grabbing every year, no? And this is a very new data, which is 2020. A total of 160.77 million hectares of land were sold and leased to foreign and domestic investors in 4,682 deals worldwide. A fifth of these documented land grabs are deals for intensive crop farming. This is really very alarming, given that massive land grabbing, even in the midst of this pandemic, is being experienced by our farmers. Here in the Philippines, the land grabbers and developers are very daring, no, in land grabbing the lands of our farmers. They even burn houses of farmers in front of the family just to pave the way for this for the developer of their of the farming of this of their lands, no? So with this number, we could just imagine how farmers are being evicted from their lands, so which resulted into massive hunger and poverty among farmers. Next slides, please. Manga, next slides. Okay, there. Control of land and seized food and agriculture by corporations. No, almost 800 millions of people worldwide continue to suffer from hunger because of corporate control on food. This is very true. Not corporate farming, multinational corporations just not just land grab land, but also sea, no? The experience of the Philippines in this West Philippine Sea, no? Being grabbed by the Chinese government. So the most the effect of this land grabbing being the effect of these problems are our food security frontliners like peasants and fisher folks are the worst, have the worst the most impoverished sector in our society. Everywhere they are the most impoverished. They experience massive hunger and because they are being displaced from their livelihood, brought about by this neoliberal policies and the policies of these imperialist countries. Next slides, please. Okay, so it's only through genuine agrarian reform program as is the very fundamental experienced by the peasants, no? The distribution of land under genuine land reform program must be thoroughly going and truly distributed, no? Distributive, no? The basic principle and central goal of genuine agrarian reform is the free distribution of land to the landless peasant tillers. No, this has been our major campaign years way back. No, even before the implementation of these policies under WTO. No, but until now, landlessness is really they call this is the main culprit, no, of being our, because landlessness is the main issue being faced by the peasantry in the whole Asian countries. Yeah, and of course, for us Filipino people, we are not just asking for a genuine land reform law, but also we are hand in hand, there should also be support services given to the farmers, so farmers will be more productive in their farms once the support services from the must be ensured by the government. So it is said also that the full realization of genuine agrarian reform and genuine land reform and genuine agrarian reform implementation has a strong social, moral, political, and cultural basis to put an end to historical social injustices. No, as long as there is massive poverty, massive poverty and hunger, we cannot attain social justice. No, it's only through the implementation of genuine agrarian reform, which in which social justice is what do you call this, is being being experienced by the peasantry, and of course after the implementation of the genuine agrarian reform paved also the way for the social national industrialization. It is only through the implementation of genuine land reform we can implement national industrialization, because it is in the products that would be processed in the industry come from agriculture. Also, the genuine land reform program aims to liberalize liberalize peasant women, no, liberate peasant women, no. Genuine agrarian reform recognized the right of indigenous people to their ancestral lands and their right to self-determination. So this is how very important genuine land reform or genuine agrarian reform to our life. especially to the peasant women who are also farmers, in which their farmers, peasant women are also farmers. They do all different works in the farm. No, so once the land is given to them, of course, they will no longer be going outside the community to seek odd jobs, because they have already farmed to make it productive. Okay. Next slides, please. Hello, Manga. Next slides. Oh, like what I've said a while ago, genuine land reform is necessary and main requisite to implement genuine agriculture and rural development. It's only through this giving free land distribution to the farmers we can assure that there's development. Next slide, please. Okay. This also through genuine agrarian reform is the key. It's the key factor in building an independent, empowered, and self-reliant communities. No, it is also through this genuine land reform, genuine agrarian reform, that peasants, no, make their field, their lands more productive, because they will be able to dictate what produce they will plant in their field, in their farms. No, and also it is only through genuine agrarian reform can we really implement the agroecology based and sustainable farming system and practices. We can veer from using agroecology based sustainable farming. We can veer away with these multinational corporations using of pesticides and other insecticides and pesticides, which is very it is bad to our health, no, to our to our health. No, so also the full emancipation of landlessness. The full emancipation of landless peasants is the most the full emancipation of the landless peasants as the most exploited and oppressed productive forces in the countryside serve as a democratic content of upholding the principles of democracy, social justice, and food sovereignty. And sovereignty. It is only this. It is only through genuine agrarian reform that we'll be able to fully emancipate our farmers through the bondage of this landlessness. So again, here in the Philippines, under the Duterte government, for almost 5 years, there are already 330 farmers who've been killed. No, and the main issue why these peasants were being killed is because they are very active in their organization, in the organizations of their communities. They are very active in demanding accountability from the government with these different issues being faced by the peasants and the whole Filipino people. They are very active in fighting for their rights to the land they are tilling, and of course they are very active in they are very active in the campaign against neoliberal policies. So part of our campaign is this Stop Killing Farmers, and every July, what do you call this, October, we celebrate, we have a day to call for the stop of killing of farmers. And with this, even during the pandemic, no, farmers, there are many farmers who have been killed, farmers have been arrested, farmers have been jailed, and because of their very strong determination to fight for their rights to the land they are tilling, no? So that's why they are being killed, they are being red tagged, they are being jailed, no? So this is our part of our main campaign is calling for the stop of killing of farmers, no? Also, to strengthen the movement for genuine agrarian reform and peasants' anti-imperialist solidarity. We cannot attain genuine agrarian reform if the other peasants is not should be part of our struggle, no? We are calling for peasants and all rural people, no? Let's unite, let's fight for genuine and rural development. It is only through the solidarity of all farmers in the whole world to unite and to strengthen our organizations and fight for a genuine land reform program and against imperialist plunder. So it is our urgent task. It is our urgent task to unite all people around the world to fight imperialist control in our food and agriculture. Let's fight for genuine land reform and rural development. It is only through our strong unity we can fight for the different demands we are calling for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy Stavilo. We were listening to Kathy. She is from Amihan Women Federation, Peasant Federation in Philippines. So now we should listen to the call or the statement which will go live day after tomorrow, which is the Day of the Landless. So we have Raja Mujib Rahman ji. Raja is from Pakistani Kisan Mazdoor Tehreek, and KR Manga from the KMP in Philippines. Over to you both. Thanks.
Thank you very much. First of all, maybe I make some mistakes because I am a pure farmer from rural side. So this is all slides in English. So I'm first of all sorry, and I am thankful to my colleagues, and thankful to organizers for giving me a chance for our APC statement. We are going to organize Landless Day on 20 March. This is my topic: incorporate control in food and agriculture. We farmers and peasants, poor farm hands, agriculture workers, contract farmers, Dalits, rural women, and youth and land reform advocates across Asia vow the furthers our role in fighting against landlessness. Landlessness breeds social injustice, hunger, and impoverishment. Landlessness is a bane to farmers and all the peoples of the world. We are uniting under the Asian Peasant Coalition to call an end to corporate control in agricultural and food systems. It is unacceptable that farmers and food producers who feed nations do not have access to land and are food insecure and results of and resources grip. And the global monopolies in agricultural production and trade. Hunger and poverty of Asian peasants and sectors in agriculture and among the direct result of countries' old landlessness, large scale and deal and acquisition land grabs by corporations have dispossessed and displaced farmers from the land they till. Yet even during the pandemic, we have seen the rising up of people's movements to assert democratic and socio-economic rights. Mass protests and people's strikes have severed across countries. In Asia, the largest mobilizations we have seen in the recent months are India's farmers taking to the street in hundreds of millions to oppose and protest new liberal agricultural laws that will make them more vulnerable to a few powerful corporations. We are alarmed that ongoing efforts to address the rising global hunger and poverty through the upcoming UN Food Systems Summit will only end up in legitimizing and further advancing lighter imperialist control over food and agriculture. Thus, we call on the courageous peasants movements in the Asia organize and mobilize for the own people's summit together with other marginalized and oppressed sectors that suffer the gravest hunger and poverty because the imperialist control and domination over the world's food and agriculture. We must create our own space and assert our own voice in the how a radical transformation of the food and agriculture systems can and should take place. We will actively support and lead the Global People's Summit for just, equitable, healthy, and sustainable food system that would bring to the fore the peasants' aspiration and struggle for land and genuine agrarian reform. For the People's Summit to truly make an impact, it must be built on an ever-growing and strengthening peasants and people's movements on the ground, fighting for systemic change that will pave the way for the development. This is truly for the people and truly sustainable. Farmers and peasants can settle for nothing less than genuine land reforms and rural development towards the true transformation of the world's food systems. We recognize that the key to this transformation are said peoples, organizations, and global mass movement. The only real inspiring change aimed to decaying world order. Thank you very much and request to sign statement and join our movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raja Mujib Rahman ji. Shukriya aapka. Raja Mujib Rahman ji is from Pakistan, Kisan Mazdoor Tehreek, and thanks a lot, KR Manga from KMP in Philippines. Manga, will you like to say something right now, or should we come to you towards the end? And friends, please do sign the endorse the petition or the statement. The link we will share in the chat box soon.
Hello, Bobby.
Yes, hi Manga. Yeah.
Yes, hello. From the Asian Peasant Coalition, we would like to invite everyone to join us on March 29 for the commemoration of the Day of the Landless. You can send us your photos of with your fan signs with the call to end corporate control over agriculture, or you can send us video messages or just photos of you in your activities during that day. In solidarity with the commemoration of the Day of the Landless. You can email us at apcrisingonline@gmail.com. We shall also post our email on the chat box or on the comment section of the CNS page. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bobby, for this opportunity for APC.
थैंक यू सो मच मंगा। दोस्तों जो लोग हिंदी सुन रहे हैं उसमें मंगा जी ने बताया कि 29 मार्च को डे ऑफ द लैंडलेस फार्मर्स है, भूमिहीन किसानों के लिए एक दिन है जिसमें विश्व स्तर पे किसान आंदोलन और में सक्रिय लोग आयोजन कर रहे हैं। और उन्होंने कहा कि हम लोग अपने अपने संदेश उनको ईमेल कर सकते हैं, उसमें लिखते हुए अपने अपने संदेश। और एक जो कॉमन संदेश लोग लिख रहे हैं कि जो उद्योगों का जो कब्जा है कृषि के ऊपर उसको खत्म किया जाए। तो इस बात को भी अगर आपके संदर्भ में है तो इस बात को भी आप अपनी तरह से लिख के उनको ईमेल कर सकते हैं। ईमेल और फॉर्म पर इंडोर्स करने का लिंक, जो ईमेल आपने यूज किया है जूम पर साइन करने के लिए, उस पर हम लोग आपको शेयर कर देंगे। और अब हम लोग सो फ्रेंड्स, नाउ लेट अस मूव टू India, and let us listen to Dr. Sandeep Pandey. He is here with us. He's one of the big inspirations to begin Satyagrah session last year. And Dr. Sandeep Pandey has been organizing, despite government in the center as well as in the state we live in, which is hell-bent upon enforcing these three anti-farm laws. He has been mobilizing farmers across the state of Uttar Pradesh, as well as been to the Delhi border site several times in solidarity to stand by with the farmers who are asserting their right for food sovereignty. So Dr. Sandeep Pandey, over to you. He's also will be joined with a person who is landless, Ravindra from Hardoi, I guess. So over to you, Dr. Sandeep Pandey.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So, because today I'm not at my home, as you can see, we are sitting in a cloth shop, and I'm joined by Ravindra, who is actually a cloth vendor. And he lives, he comes from the neighboring district of Lucknow called Hardoi, from a village about 90 kilometers outside Lucknow, which is the state capital of Uttar Pradesh, the largest state in India, and by default the largest agrarian state also. Ravindra is essentially, he comes from a background of a landless Dalit family. And the reason he has to move to city is because it is unviable for him to do agriculture. So first I would like Ravindra to speak. He will be speaking in Hindi and I will be translating it. And then I will add if there is anything, which he doesn't cover. तो रविंद्र, ये जो आज ये मीटिंग हो रही है, इसमें आप देख रहे हैं कई जगह से लोग जुड़े हुए हैं। तो आप बताइए कि हरदोई में एक भूमिहीन दलित परिवार से होने के कारण आपको वहाँ क्या क्या दिक्कतें आई? जो लोग गांव में अभी भी रहते हैं, जो भूमिहीन हैं और खास करके जो दलित पृष्ठभूमि से हैं, उनको खेती किसानी मजदूरी में क्या क्या दिक्कतें आती हैं? और इसके अलावा उनके पास क्या विकल्प है? अगर वो गांव में अपनी जीविका नहीं कमा सकते तो वो उनके सामने क्या विकल्प है? और ये भी बताइएगा कि गांव में जैसे किसानों को बैंक में जाना पड़ता है कई बार ऋण वगैरह लेने के लिए, तो वो एक छोटे किसान या एक भूमिहीन मजदूर के लिए कितना आसान होता है। और यहाँ पे ये जरूर स्पष्ट कर दें कि भूमिहीन का मतलब एकदम शून्य भूमि नहीं है। भूमिहीन यानी कि क्या 5 बीघा से कम वाले को भूमिहीन कहते हैं जी। तो उसके पास भी जमीन होती है, लेकिन वो इतनी जमीन नहीं होती कि वो अपने परिवार का पूरा खर्च उससे वहन कर सके। तो आप जरा क्या स्थिति है भूमिहीन किसान मजदूरों की गांव के इलाके में, जरा इसको थोड़ा सा बताइए।
मैं जिस जगह में बैठा हूँ यहीं से मैं कपड़े खरीद करके और गांव-गांव जा करके फेरी करता हूँ। और मैं आज से करीब 15 वर्ष पहले लखनऊ आया। बाद हमने अन्य चीजों को जैसे रिक्शा वगैरह भी चलाया, लेकिन आज हम कपड़े का ही काम है, क्योंकि हमारी जो ग्रोथ मतलब हमारी जो इनकम है वो गाँव में नहीं हो पाती। और मान लीजिए हम खेती करते थे तो इतना हमारे पास खेती नहीं है। मान लीजिए 1 बीघा खेती है और 1 बीघे में हमारे पास कुछ भी इतना नहीं हो सकता था कि हमारा अपना जीवन यापन कर सकते थे बच्चों का अपना। तो
इसको अनुवाद तो फिर So I had essentially asked Ravindra what are the difficulties a landless, especially Dalit family faces in the village. And he's saying that he had to move to Lucknow city 15 years back, and he does cloth vending work. Initially, he used to, move about on his bicycle. Now he has got a motorcycle, and with clothes on this cycle or motorcycle, he moves around the city and to rural areas around Lucknow and sells clothes. And that is how he is earning his livelihood. Otherwise, as a landless Dalit family in the village, owning about 1 बीघा of land. एक एकड़ में कितना बीघा होता है क्या? 5 में. So 5 बीघाs make one acre. So 1/5 of an acre is the land that he has, and that land is cannot sustain his family, and that is why he has to come to city to do vending work, and that is how he sustains his family.
तो अब हम लोगों को जो समस्याएं आ रही हैं, मान लीजिए अभी हम लोग बैंक से जब कर्ज लेने जाते हैं या क्रेडिट कार्ड वगैरह जैसे बनवाना पड़ता है सरकार द्वारा, तो उसमें कई सारी समस्याएं आती हैं। वहाँ पे कई सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगे जाते हैं, और थोड़ी जमीन कम होने के कारण उसी हिसाब से क्रेडिट कार्ड जो बनता है वो भी उसी हिसाब से बनता है। मान लीजिए अगर 1 बीघा जमीन है तो बहुत ज्यादा 20,000 से ज्यादा आप लोन नहीं ले सकते। 20 से 30,000 रुपए आप ले सकते हैं, इससे ज्यादा नहीं ले सकते। तो ये सारी समस्याएं हो रही हैं मतलब किसानों की। और हम लोगों को क्या है कि अन्य चीजें जैसे अब हम जब खेती करते हैं तो खेती में किसानी में कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो हम लोगों को उपलब्ध नहीं होती हैं, हो नहीं पाती हैं। और हम लोग जैसे अगर गरीब किसान है और हमारे पास खेती कम है तो किसी ना किसी की बटाई जमीन खरीद लेते हैं और बटाई जमीन पर हम लोग काम करते हैं। लेकिन उसमें क्या होता है, मान लीजिए अगर कोई आकस्मिक आपदा आ जाती है, जैसे बारिश है, तेज बारिश है, बूढ़ा आ गया या फिर अन्य कई आपदाएं आ जाती हैं, तो उससे फसल नष्ट हो जाती है। और जब फसल नष्ट हो जाती है तो उसका जो फायदा है, जिसका खेत होता है उसको वो फायदा मिलता है, न कि उस किसान को मिलता है जो बटाई बोता है। ये समस्याएं बहुत बड़ी है।
So Ravindra said that because he has a small piece of land, 1 बीघा, if he wants a loan from a bank to do agriculture, because of his small land holding, he can get only about 20,000 rupees from the bank. The bank will not give him a loan more than that because of his small land holding. Now, because that land is not big enough to sustain his family, so he has to do sharecropping. So, which means that he has to take land of somebody else on certain agreement. Usually, it is like the person who is doing the agriculture will get 1/3 to 1/2 of the produce, and the owner of the land will get the rest. And the input cost is either borne by the person who is doing the agriculture, or is shared between the sharecropper and the landowner. But if there is a loss, then the loss has to be entirely borne by the sharecropper. The owner of the land, doesn't bear the loss, because mostly it is the person who's doing the agriculture, the sharecropper, who's investing. So if I have invested, in seed, in fertilizer, in pesticide, in water, electricity, and for some reason the crop fails because of some natural calamity or because of some pest, then it is the sharecropper who stands to lose, because the landowner probably doesn't have to invest anything because of the agreement. So it is a very risky proposition for landless laborers who attempt to work as sharecroppers also. और कुछ
हाँ, और हम लोगों को क्या होता है, जब ऐसी समस्याएं आती हैं तो हम लोग शहर की तरफ भाग जाते हैं। तो अब वहाँ पे क्या होता है, फैक्ट्रियों में हम लोग काम करते हैं, फैक्ट्रियों में भी वही हाल रहता है। 1 महीना 2 महीना किया, और उसमें क्या होता है कि कभी कभी कोई मालिक होते हैं जो कम पैसे देते हैं और कोई कुछ ज्यादा देते हैं। इस हिसाब से वहाँ पे काम किया जाता है। उससे कुछ 1 महीना करो, 2 महीने बैठ जाओ, तो ऐसी भी समस्याएं लोगों को आती रहती हैं।
So Ravindra is saying that to escape the hardship of the rural life, because a person like him doesn't have sufficient land and has to work as sharecropper on somebody else's land, which involves tremendous risk. So they find it very easy to migrate to the cities, because in cities they come and work as a laborer in some small manufacturing unit, so that they have an assured monthly income. But even in the cities, the employment is not guaranteed. You may get work for 1 month. The work may be seasonal, so you get work for 1 month, and then for 2 months you are laid off. So there's no guarantee of income in the cities also. But at least you can do. He says he has worked as a laborer also, daily wage laborer, and then he figured out that if he did something like cloth mending work, then that would be a more stable source of income, and that is what he is doing. But still, he depends on daily income. It is not possible for him to be able to have an assured income from this kind of work. Every morning, he has to take cloths on his motorcycle, move around, sell them, and then come back in the evening with an income with which he can sustain for the day, or maybe 2-3 days, and then he has to go out again. So it's a constant struggle for a person like him, whether they live in the village or in the city, with no assured income, and life is always full of uncertainties. There are children who have to be educated. Fortunately, he also works as an activist. He is a treasurer of the Socialist Party India, with which I am also associated, and he works as a right to education activist. So he has got both his children admitted under the Right to Education Act, because of which they don't have to pay any fee. So at least the education of his children is free, but then you need other things. You have to feed the children, you have to buy uniform for them, the books and other expenditures are there. So, it is a life of a struggle, but that is how the life of most of the agricultural laborers and the laborers who are working in cities or vendors like him is in India. गांव में जो मीटिंग कराएंगे वो बताइए, दिल्ली गए,
तो गाँव का जो हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे किया। हम लोगों ने अभी एक किसान सभा की थी गांव में, तो जिसमें हमारे गांव के सारे लोग, सारे किसान एकत्रित हुए थे और उन लोगों की जो समस्याएं थी, बहुत सारी समस्याएं थी। अब क्या होता है कि हमारे गांव में खुले जानवर घूमते रहते हैं। ये बहुत बहुत बड़ी समस्या हमारे खेतों के लिए है, जिनमें मान लीजिए 1 बीघा भी जमीन है और वो जानवर चर जाते हैं, तो फिर ऐसी बहुत सारी समस्याएं हैं। उस खेत बिल्कुल नष्ट कर देते हैं। एक एक नहीं, कम से कम 10-10, 20-20 जानवर खुले घूमते हैं और जिस खेत में वो चले जाते हैं उसको बिल्कुल साफ, उस फसल को खा जाते हैं बिल्कुल। तो ऐसी भी समस्याएं हम लोगों की रहती हैं। इसको लेकर के हमने एक अपने गांव में किसान सभा की थी, जो संदीप सर हमारे साथ थे और अन्य हमारे साथी लोग थे। इसको लेकर के हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे बातचीत की। तो ऐसे ही हम लोग काम करते रहते हैं।
So Ravindra, what he did not mention is first he went to Delhi along with 17 people from the community where he lives in Lucknow to participate in the farmers movement which is going on. He went to the Ghazipur border, the Shahjahanpur border, the Tikri border, and the Singhu border. So he visited the farmers. नहीं आप चारों जगह नहीं जा पाए।
नहीं, एक
Gazi. Oh, sorry, he went only to the Ghazipur border. The rest of us went to the other borders. And he was so inspired by the farmers movement in Delhi that even though he doesn't do farming at this time, he decided to organize a meeting of the farmers in his village in support of the movement going on in Delhi. Because he's essentially from the rural area and he is connected to his village. His father and mother and the rest of the family lives there. So on कब 21 मार्च को हुआ था? 7 मार्च. So on 7th of March, he organized a Kisan Panchayat, a meeting of the farmers in his village, and the farmers from his village and the neighboring villages had gathered, and there was a farmer leader from Madhya Pradesh. He came to participate. The president of Socialist Kisan Sabha from Unnao, Mr. Anil Mishra, came, and it was a small meeting, but a very important meeting because everybody who came to that meeting, about 100 farmers, they sat right through the meeting to listen to what is going on in the country, the 3 laws which have been made by the central government against the farmers, and how the farmers are protesting, what is at stake for them. So he has also got involved in the farmers movement and has been contributing his bit to it by encouraging people to go and visit Delhi and also to participate meetings in their own local areas. So thank you so much. That is all from me and Ravindra. And if there are any questions, he will be very happy to answer.
Thank you so much, friends. We were listening to Dr. Sandeep Pandey. As we know, he is a Raymond Magsaysay awardee, Vice President of Socialist Party India, and we also were listening more importantly to Ravindra's voice too, who is a landless person, and so many issues which were highlighted in the statement earlier by Raja Mujib Rahman ji and K.R. Manga. We saw those issues. So similarity between different regions. Before we open the session, we also have a voice from Anil Mishra ji. Anil Mishra is a farmer in Unnao in Uttar Pradesh, and he has sent us a video message. And let's listen to him. And he's also president of Socialist Kisan Sabha. Oops, sorry, I think the sound might not be there. And this video is in Hindi, but I will help summarize it in English. And it is not very long, so don't worry. Stick on.
के भाव निश्चित किए गए। इंदिरा जी की गवर्नमेंट थी, उस टाइम 40 पैसे लीटर डीजल था और 76 रुपए किलो गेहूं। 1 किलो गेहूं में 1.25 लीटर डीजल ले लेते थे। 1.25 कुंटल में एक साइकिल मिल जाती थी। 1 कुंटल में 1 कुंटल सरिया मिल जाता था। 1 कुंटल गेहूं में 2350 गुम्मा मिल जाता था। 1 कुंटल गेहूं में 12 कट्टे सीमेंट के मिल जाते थे, लेकिन सबके भाव बढ़ाए गए, किसान का भाव मारा गया, फैक्ट्री के दाम पूरे बढ़ाए गए। दूसरी तरफ मुद्रा की कीमत सोने से आंकी जाती है, कर्मचारी को जितना सोना अपनी तनख्वाह से 67 में ले लेते थे, उनकी तनख्वाहें बढ़ा दी गई। तो लड़ाई तो असली किसान की ये है जो मैं रख रहा हूं, और सबके दाम बढ़े, किसान तो मर चुका है, आर्थिक मार दिया गया उसको। और ना कि सांस्कृतिक आजादी के साथ आर्थिक आजादी की लड़ाई कब होगी भाई, ये सरकार से सवाल है, ये एक गंभीर सवाल है। और हम कुछ नहीं चाहते, 6,000 रुपए जो दे रहे हैं साल में किसान को, किसान सम्मान निधि, वो भी नहीं चाहते। हम चाहते हैं कि जो भाव 67 में लागू हुए, उस भाव के मुताबिक गेहूं की कीमत से जो किसान को वस्तुएं मिलती थी, 12 कट्टे सीमेंट के मिलते थे, 2,000 350 गुम्मा 1 कुंटल गेहूं में मिलता था, वो हमें चाहिए। और जितना कर्मचारी जिस हिसाब से उसकी तनख्वाहें बढ़ाई गई, उस हिसाब से गेहूं की और अन्य जिन्स की कीमत बढ़ा दी जाए, ये हमारा सवाल है। संगठित नहीं है इसलिए हमारे जा रहे, जबकि कर्मचारी जो आंदोलन करता है तो उसको अधिकार मिल जाता, उनकी सारी तनख्वाहें बढ़ा दी गई। ये हमारी असली लड़ाई है। और इस बीच में
Yes, so thank you. Yeah, Anil Mishra ji, he was Anil Mishra, and we heard his voice. And he raised very important point, and he has been doing farming since several years. And he says that in 1968, so many years back, 1968, he could buy 1.75 liters of diesel by selling 1 kg of wheat, and 1.25 quintal of wheat could buy one cycle. 1 quintal of wheat could get us 1 quintal of iron rods, which are used in construction. A sale of 1 quintal of wheat could get about 2,350 bricks. 1 quintal of wheat could get 12 cement sacks in 1968. So everyone's income increased over the years, but economic worth of farm produce lagged behind. Worth of currency is measured by gold. Service sector employees could buy same amount of gold with their salary as they could buy in 1968 because their salaries increased in service sector. So real fight for farmers is for economic justice and parity. This is what Anil Mishra ji insists upon. And he says that everyone else has got a raise except farmers who are left to die an economic death. Along with cultural freedom justice, when will we win the fight to get economic justice is his question. And he asked the government that they don't want yearly rupees 6,000, which is given in form of Kisan Samman Nidhi, a kind of which roughly translates to Farmer Pride Fund. But we rather want the same financial worth of farm produce as was in 1968. So he is demanding the government the same financial worth, economic worth of farm produce, which was in 1968 or earlier, so that the sale of farm produce can get him same or more quantity of other goods. And so this is another very important issue. So now I think we can open it for discussion. Anyone else who wants to speak? ये बहुत anyone जो भी बात अपनी रखना चाहते हैं वो बोल सकते हैं. एक सवाल आया है महिला किसान के ऊपर. So friends, there is a question on asked by Seema on Mahila Kisan ka mudda. So I think there was some reference to this in the statement, but Manga Rajaji, Kathy Stavilo from Peasant Federation in Philippines, she had also raised it very effectively. But anyone will like to make a comment, quick comment, please be welcome. On women land rights.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
Can I? Yeah.
Yes, please
On
go ahead,
we-
Kathy.
Yeah, on women land rights, I think it's very important that peasant women should also be given also be a beneficiary to whatever land reform programs being implemented, because they too are also peasant. They they work more in the fields than in their house. So it would be a better through land reform, through genuine land reform, through genuine land reform could also emancipate women, peasant women, from their bondage from the bondage of this poverty, no? Because if given the opportunity that peasant women have land, they will no longer go outside their communities to seek jobs for their livelihood. So it's really very important, no, that women, peasant women are also beneficiaries of whatever land reform programs given to peasants.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
Kathy Stavilo. Thank you. Yeah, very important issue and very important response. There's another very important comment from another participant, Jittima, and she says in Thailand, landless farmers and laborers are migrants, and some of them are illegal migrants too, from Myanmar or other countries, where they come to Thailand for better life, but often they struggle a lot. So she is recommending that we should also include migrants in this movement. So I think another very important point. So yeah, if anyone will like to make a small comment or brief comment, please be welcome. We totally agree with you, Jitima. Yeah. And और कोई भी अपनी बात रखना चाहेंगे? अरविंद मूर्ति जी हैं, आप अपनी बात रखना चाहेंगे? सुरेंद्र साहब हैं, प्रवीण जी। जी, अरविंद मूर्ति जी आइए। अरविंद मूर्ति जी is a senior activist from Mau, and he is himself a farmer also. So Arvind ji, please go ahead. हाँ, बताएं अरविंद जी। आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है अरविंद जी।
सभी साथियों को जिंदाबाद। जी
जी बोलिए आ रही है।
हेलो।
हाँ बोलिए।
हेलो
जी बोलिए।
मैं इनकलाबी सलाह। आज ये जो भूमि चर्चा हो रही है, उसमें बात ये है कि भारत है, उसकी एक दूसरी सच्चाई है, भारत जैसे देश बिना भी सुधार।
Sorry, friends, we seem to have lost Arvind Murthy ji, probably because of bad internet. So if there is no further question or comment, and I'm not able to check the Facebook pages, so I'm very sorry for this. So not able to take questions or comments or responses from there. But all of you who are watching us on Facebook, there is a comment, there is a link. Please go to the comment section. You will find the link where you can endorse the statement issued by Asian Peasant Coalition and join forces on the Day of the Landless. There is an email also left by Asian Peasant Coalition. You can get back to Asian Peasant Coalition with a sign in support of the Day of the Landless. एंड दोस्तों, जो लोग आप लोग हमें फेसबुक पे देख रहे हैं, आप लोगों से आग्रह है कि आप कमेंट सेक्शन में जाएं और आपको वहां पे लिंक दिखाई देगा जहां पर आप अपना समर्थन भूमिहीन किसानों के समर्थन में अपनी बात रख सकते हैं, अपने समर्थन दे सकते हैं। और एक ईमेल एड्रेस भी दिखाई देगा जहां पर आप अपनी तस्वीर या साइनेज या संदेश के साथ आप उन्हें ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं। सो अब जरूर करें। अरविंद जी आप आ गए हैं, अगर अरविंद जी आप अपनी बात खत्म करना चाहें तो फिर से एक बार कोशिश करके देखिए। अरविंद जी।
हाँ जी मैं हेलो।
हाँ बोलिए अरविंद जी।
आवाज आ रही?
जी, अरविंद जी
हाँ,
आपकी आवाज
तो
थोड़ी टूट रही है।
मैं साथियों ये कह रहा था कि भारत जैसे
अरे अरविंद जी has left a comment also that भारत जैसे देश में बिना भूमि सुधार, भूमि बंटवारे के खेती के संकट का हल नहीं है, which roughly translates to that unless we do land reform and also the land redistribution, the danger which is looming over agriculture will not easily be resolved. So he's probably calling and echoing on all the issues which probably the statement has already addressed. So thanks a lot again to each one of you who has joined us, and special thanks to Asian Peasant Coalition again, because it was just 12 hours ago where we started really trying to bring all forces together so that we can have this session today. And thanks a lot for joining us on the Facebook Live as well. And please, I again appeal to all of you to please sign up and endorse the statement, which is the link of which will be in the comment box, or you all will also receive it on the email if you have joined us on Zoom. So thanks a lot, and all the best and all the power for you for 29 March, which is Day of the Landless. भूमिहीन किसानों के लिए जो दिन है 29 मार्च, हर दिन हर रात उनका है और उनके अधिकारों के लिए, लेकिन 29 मार्च को विश्व के अनेक किसान संगठन और अन्य मानवाधिकार संगठन आयोजन करते हैं उनकी मांगों को लेके, तो आप लोग जरूर उसका समर्थन करें। तो इसी बात के साथ बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और अलविदा। थैंक यू अगेन, थैंक्स अ लॉट एंड ऑल द बेस्ट एंड ऑल द पावर फॉर 29 मार्च एंड बियॉन्ड। थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Thank you.
थैंक यू। बाय।